Welcome back, everyone. This is Key of W playing Neyyah. We've made it to Pinorvia Point, the last main area that we have not yet seen, and we entered the main chambers and just started reading a ton of lore. So in this video, we're going to explore the rest of the islands. So let's head up the stairs first. I'm going to just... yeah, hold on. There we go. There is a little passageway here that leads to the center of the room where we find an elevator. They put elevators in weird places in this game. Another Talabrock bird. And we get to see a nice view here. So this is yet another gun sort of mount, as it was told to us in the lore books last time. This area, Neyyah in particular, is a very militarized zone because of the war that happened here. So there's lots of leftover gun stuff. We can't go up there and take a closer look, but you can see the Volk Tower here. So the Volk Towers were created to do a lot of things, one of which was to physically move the parts of Neyyah far apart from each other as a protection. So that's why we're on tiny islands and teleporting between places. The Volk Towers separated them. And they also just generally power the areas. And there's a triangle on the top. And the triangle is the Talita Portal Triangle for Pinorvia Point. And it's got 3 dots right here. They are blue because blue is the color of this area. And those dots apparently are going to tell us the position of the sun. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like the current position, because that should move. The position of the sun should move throughout the day. But it's a sun position. It's the second symbol should be the symbol for this location. But it's not going to be the Talita Triangle. That's not the symbol of this location. It's also not going to be the semicircle. That's the Olugerian symbol for the location. It's going to be something else. And then the bottom is going to be the temperature. And it'd be nice to just be able to go there and read it. But we can't read it from here. We can't get closer to this island to read it. We're going to have to find some other way to get the information that's on this Volk Tower. Let's just take a look around and just kind of enjoy the view. This is where we came from. There's really nothing else to see there except some beautiful, very 90s skyboxes. This game just really nails the vibe. I have to say, you know, being a person who played Riven in the late 90s or whatever, this is pitch perfect with that style of game. So that's one of the towers. Which tower would we be talking about here? So if oh god, I can't tell which direction I went. So I'm either looking at the camera tower or I'm looking at the signal tower. I think I'm looking at the camera tower. That makes the most sense, because I was staring at the Volk Tower, which was on my right, which meant I was staring this way, right? I had to be staring this way. And then I started turning anti-clockwise here, which means that the first tower I should see is the camera tower. So that's the camera tower. Right there, but I can't reach it. You can see the pathway is actually far lower than where we are, so we don't get there from here. I don't see a walkway to it at all. There's another tower there, and that one should be this tower over here, the Constellation Tower, because we're facing kind of this way right now. And then from this view, yeah, there's your camera tower. There's open sea. And then this should be the signal tower, and we do have a walkway there from here. So let's see what we got in the signal towers. Okay. Definitely another computer system wants a Paida. Red Paida, so it's got the top square. We got the triangle for Pinorvia Point, and then a circle with the line going from the bottom left to the top right. I don't think we have a lot of options for that. Yeah, we really only have one red Paida with this triangle on it anyway. Actually, how many Paidas can we use here? We use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's quite a lot of Paidas. What am I doing? I need one of those. Thank you. Transportation tower. Oh, the transportation tower. We definitely want those. That is mentioned in the emergency transcript talking about something we have to do to send signals or change something here. Camera sector, that's the Olugerian term for Pinorvia Point. And camera signals are required. So we don't have those, we can't do anything here. We've powered up the computer, but it is unusable for us. I would have a word with their Department of Efficiency, I suppose, on why they have to have 7,000 computers spread across the world, each of which has one use, rather than one computer that does everything. But I don't know, I'm not an Olugerian. It also would make the puzzles a little bit less complicated if you just went to one computer, so I get it. So let's head back down. There's nothing else that we can do up here yet. Let's find our way to the other tower, the camera tower. Right, I went in the signal tower. I tell you, I get it mixed up. I went in the signal tower. That's where I just was. Let's head to the camera tower. And it's through this way. And this one has the Olugerian symbol for Pinorvia Point on it, which is the semicircle on the left side. So obviously this is an Olugerian tower. We can also see out there a new area. This is an area we couldn't see from before. So this is... Well, we got some statues there. That's going to be the Guardian statues, and we can see the Constellation Tower. But we're also kind of looking out this way. Like, our view technically right now is facing that way. But when we face the camera tower, we can sort of see over to this side. Right? So we're facing this way, there's the rock. But when I turn, you can see behind the rock is a whole nother thing. There's an entire building there. And this one's got 3 computers on it, each of which does exactly one thing. So they all want Paidas. This wants a green Paida. The important bit is going to be the side-to-side line in the circle, because the rest of this is inferred. We know the triangle shape because that tells us the location we're at, Pinorvia Point. We know the color because we can see it, and we can also see the level, the square there. So I'm going to pull out, well, open the case, pull out this Paida right here. And inside, oh, no camera signal, that's that. Camera systems, camera in use, crystal block mech camera, location, arrival sector. Well, we do know what a crystal mechanism is. We saw it in the arrival sector, which is Felitu Island, but we need a crystal to use it. There's an empty crystal thing in there. But we also need a camera signal. So Paida's detected, successful connection to Neyyah Plat System 1. Neyyah Platinum System 1. Sorry, got to take another shot at that. Camera inactive, requires power, awaiting symbol generation. So it looks like a lot needs to be done before this will be useful. We need to figure out what to do with the crystal mechanisms generally, and then we need a signal from a camera of some kind. Now, with each of these crystal mechanisms, there is a camera across from it, so we probably need the signal from that camera. Now, this one isn't the one that we were dealing with on that computer. That one's at Felitu Island, but since there's a second crystal mechanism, it's reasonable to assume that this other computer is going to be dealing with that one. And this one wants the other green Paida with the triangle on it, so we're going to pull that one out. It's this one right here. Yep, needs a camera signal. It's a crystal block mech camera in the camera sector, which is Pinorvia Point. The rest of this is the same. It's waiting for a camera, to awaiting symbol generation, and it needs whatever we do with that puzzle to be done. And finally, a computer that wants a blue Paida with the line going straight up and down. So we're going to pull out this fella there. Another camera system. Camera in use, crane camera. That's different. It's not a crystal block mech camera. So, 2 types of cameras. And then locations, arrival sector. Heater server camera status. So there's a camera by the heater servers. Paida detected, etc., etc. Requires power. So again, we need the camera. We need the symbols. That's all we can do here. At the very least, we offloaded some of our Paidas. Alright, let's head back down to the lower level of the main chambers and go out the door we haven't explored yet, which should take us towards the crystal block mech camera, whatever, and the constellation tower. That is the wrong door. It is this door here. It's not like the doors look the same or anything. I'm going to follow this path over here first. This should take us to the old dock, according to our map. Old and unusable dock. This boat has seen better days. And there's our camera tower here. But behind us, there's something around this little corner. And if we look here, we see another panel with a button, just like we saw in Scarlet Towers. It doesn't work, but it has the Volk Tower symbol. We know what that is now. So it has some connection with the Volk Towers. Perhaps it's what we need in order to access the information that is on the tower. Okay, now to head down this pathway. Oh. There's those eyeballs again. Can we look up from here? Yeah, we can. We can see... Yeah, here's the sculptures of two Fazaltians with spears crossed. And again, the shape of the Fazaltian, I think it has to be stylized, because it's mentioned that they're human in one of the lore books. But, you know, we don't see Fazaltians walking around in the game, so I thought there's the possibility that they actually do kind of look like this rather than regular humans. But I think it's just stylization, very blocky looking stuff, rather than an actual robotic sort of more rectangular shape to their bodies. But I don't know, maybe they are slightly different. We can only know if they make a sequel and show us the Fazaltians in that. So we've got the crystal mechanism here, and just like the one on the arrival sector, it's missing something in the center, another crystal like this, and it's got a symbol on the back. But this is not the same symbol that we saw in Felitu Island. That crystal mechanism symbol looks like a Pelorian portal. You got a pole on the one side, a pole on the other, and then a circle in the middle. This just looks like mountains. So we know we can't do anything with it because we don't have crystals, so there's that. And we know this is now a camera. Camera pointed at the crystal block mechanism. But it's not on. The camera's not sending a signal, so we can't use it for that. I happened to just immediately go over this. But this image should look familiar if you're very sort of familiar with Vermeer's journal. I'm trying to look for the word I just said. Familiar with Vermeer's journal, he talks about Pelska portal locations. There's one here hidden behind this panel. We still can't use them, so just pointing it out to show you that I found it. There it is. And let's make our way to this constellation tower, see what all the fuss is about. Why are all the kids heading to the constellation tower after school? I've got a machine that, well, it doesn't work yet, but it wants a Paida. This is the only Paida in the game that, as far as I'm aware, is not necessary to the completion of the game. You can keep this Paida in your case for the whole game. You never need to use this machine. But it is useful, because it is going to teach us something that we're going to want to know for some later puzzles. This is the last blue Paida, well, last Paida generally that's used in Pinorvia Point. So let's stick it in there. And now we're powered up. And this machine, we saw in the diagram in Vermeer's journal, he's talking about the number system. And so let's press the first button, and nothing happens. The second button, we've got two white lines and this constellation. The third one is like this. Fourth, well, that one we don't see. And so on, and so forth. So there are 4 that don't work. 9 doesn't work, 6 doesn't work, 4 doesn't work, and 1 doesn't work. We don't know why. And we have to infer those numbers from other information. But we've seen on the door to Vimir's secret office the first 4 numbers anyway. So we should know number 1. It looks like this, but without the circle. And number 4 is like the letter K, but one of the legs of the letter K just kind of goes on forever. That's what number 4 is. Then we have 2 and 3. And we pretty much only need to know those 4. But you can see the others here. You can see 5. 6 we can't see. And if we want to know 6, it's just whatever's between 5 and 7 when we're reading other things. And then these higher numbers we pretty much never need to worry about. I can infer that either 6 or 9 is the one that kind of looks like that letter M, because I don't see it anywhere else. And we know that's a number because it was on the... like the accounting sheets at Calorphiac Mines, or the shaft numbers. They had a shaft number 2, I think. This is one of the shaft numbers. This is one of the shaft numbers, shaft 7. And then there's a shaft number like M that was written on the check-in sheet, I believe, of the Calorphiac Mines. So it's either 9 or 6, being the M shape. But yeah, that's how you learn to count to 10 in the game. I mean, feels kind of weird from a lore perspective for Vimir to build an entire tower just to install one machine to teach numbers by projecting them on a wall, like, or on a transparent pane like this, like glass or whatever. Kind of feels like why not just write them down? But okay, I guess. Maybe this was supposed to do something else. We just never got around to it. Either way, it's nice to learn the few times we'll need to know the numbering system. And here's another book hidden right here. This is the missing book from the main chambers. We know because it's written by Damitai, one of the 4 rulers, whatever you call. The Birth of the Star Numbers. And you can check your Galahanti again if you need to. And in fact, we get our final letter here, the one that's done differently. And that is the letter M. M as in Mancy. So it has a completely different writing, and the reason it is because it has the most dots. Right? Everything else is a wedge that goes up to 6 dots. This has a 7th dot. So what's right before M is L, which is not in this. L is a wedge facing to the left, I believe, with 6 dots. And so instead of a wedge to the left with 7 dots, this extra type of letter is here. And from that, I would gather that Z should also be one of these with 7 dots, facing a different direction. It's a strange code, but it checks out. Long ago, before all sites of the Great Silidate Sea had been visited and the discovery of the Paida had yet to reveal itself to the rulers, the land was known as Tulimbari. One man by the name of Elithare was planning a journey. He had made a boat, and from the shingle shores of a small island called Larta, he set sail across the glass sea, a peaceful place bathed in the warm kiss of an approaching sunrise. Time was cutting a new path of existence into motion, marked by the snaking trail of disturbed waves from the back of Elithare's boat. The island of Larta had, by this point, disappeared far off into the distance. Elithare had been living there for the better part of 10 years, isolated from the rest of Tulimbari. Here he became introduced to the mysterious Pelskas, creatures that existed beyond the living realms. He believed that they could help bring Tulimbari to a whole new chapter, evolving their community and pushing their world forward. On Larta, Elithare had begun his visions of what he believed would lead him on the discovery of a hidden numerical language which would present themselves through the stars on a soul voyage across the seas of Feamor. Fueled by the visions and thoughts he had received from the Pelskas, Elithare sailed across the oceans for quite some time before coming across a small rocky island surrounded by Pelorian flowers. The sun had almost completely set, and their blue glow seemed fueled by the strengthening moonlight. Elithare docked the boat and felt the sands of the shore beneath his feet. He then touched the sand, grabbed some in his hand, and squeezed it, smiling. Another voice was coming to him. Phalidian. Upon hearing the word in his head, he looked up and saw a shape take form within the sky, starlight sketching life across the otherwise ink-black emptiness above. this was his message, to start building Philidian settlements, which would in turn help fuel their land. The constellation became the number 1. Elithire boarded his boat and sailed back out across the sea. The night had completely drained the light from the day, and a blanket of stars gazed down upon the sole traveler, swelling with hidden symbols, eager to make themselves known to the traveler. Payita. A second word came to Elithire, a whisper from a soft woman's voice, Payita, and again, as a new island of rocky outcrops started to show itself, glowing underneath the strengthening starlight. Giant green crystals studded the nearby terrain of black rock. Upon stepping foot on the island, the crystals seemed to glow brighter and appeared to stretch outward from the ground, revealing bright white light at their stems. Elithire touched the black stones and shingle which surrounded him, then looked up at the night sky to see another symbol reveal itself to him. This was the constellation for the number 2. The rest of the voyage revealed even more. 8 other islands of rock, 8 other words, and 8 other constellations. The moonlight seemed to brighten all the while these discoveries made themselves known to Elithire. Philidian, Payita, Shrine, Levitation, Pyoltish, Hyen, Velatron, Harvest, Creation, and Neyyah. Elithire sailed back to Larta, packed his things, and set sail from those shores for the last time, returning to Talimbari with all his new discoveries, changing the world of what would later become Fazalta forever. That's a neat little story. I would say it's the only lore in the game that I'm pretty sure is not a factual account of something that happened. This is definitely on the order of a myth. Sort of an origin myth for the people of Fazalta. I do find it interesting that this myth includes words about future events that Elithire could not possibly know. Hyen's a guy's name. How did he know about Hyen? How did he know that Hyen's name would be reversed to spell Neyyah? How would he know all that kind of stuff? Which makes me think it's a mythical story. I don't know. I like that kind of stuff. I wish there was more of it in the game. Because another one of my sort of genuine criticisms that doesn't ruin the game for me, but I still have this criticism, is that despite the game telling me about this place Fazalta and its culture and how Small X is destroying its culture, I actually know very little about Fazaltian life. I know staggeringly little about how they lived their lives. The only thing I know is about the Payitas directly, because you use them in puzzles. But like that isn't enough to know a culture. It's like saying that you understand South America because you watched the World Cup. Like that's not enough to know that they like football. You gotta know what's daily life for them. And this game doesn't really give us a lot of life for the Fazaltians. We see a lot from Vermeer. We see kind of how he lives in his offices, and we see how the entire process of the creation of Payitas, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I think that's the right thing to do. But we don't see Fazaltian life at all. And so having a lore book that's just straight up mythical retelling of something in Fazalta that is not directly related to the creation of Payitas is very refreshing, and it helps make the world feel a little bit more alive. And so, like, I would have wanted to see more of that. Perhaps it's the plan for a sequel, like a sequel would deal more with direct interaction with Fazaltians. This game really does feel like it's hiding a lot of discoveries behind a potential sequel, which again, that's probably the right thing to do. But it does mean that this particular experience is not as enriching as I want it to be. I guess I could say it that way. But it's the same with the Myst series. The first Myst game really doesn't go that in depth into all the lore. It's not until Riven where you start to really get the lore. But the difference between this and Riven is you do actually see daily life for the people on Riven, and for Gen in that game. Not to go too much into Riven, because I could go on that game for a million years. But like that's the masterclass on world building for video games. This game is definitely trying to live up to that, and in some ways it's doing a pretty good job, and in other ways it's obvious that Riven is a once in a lifetime game. It's really hard to replicate that. Anyway, let's head through to a new area here. Let's check our map. We're still Pinorvia Point, but now we're at the Pelska Shrine area. So we made it. We've been looking for this. Old ammunition bunker, the Jalut station, and the Pelska Shrine. That's it. And so this bunker here is in fact the bunker we saw drawn on the note in Fabir's office. This is the bunker where we intend to trap Smolax. And by we, of course, I mean other people, but we've kind of been roped into this, and so we need to now be the person that traps Smolax in the bunker, or at least we're a participant in it. We can look inside and see nothing. It's very dark. We can't tell what's in there, but we do see the opening at the top for the Jalut. So the idea is that we need to lure Smolax here by lowering the Neyyah spores or whatever. There's a whole thing going on with that. And then open up a cabinet and input a code, which will send an emergency signal that Smolax will see. He'll come down from the Ronalda Temple. If he lands in the bunker, the shield will go up. He'll be unable to escape, at which point Orianne will teleport him away. That's the objective. So this is the Jalut station. So when Smolax eventually arrives, we can't interact with this, by the way. When Smolax eventually arrives, he's going to try to land here. That's where he wants to come. If he manages to be here, because we didn't correctly activate the trap, that's game over. We don't want him to do that because he's going to be able to walk around freely, teleport whoever he wants back to the Ronalda Temple, teleport himself wherever he wants. No good. We don't want him to do that. So we want to make sure that we activate the trap. So when the signal is sent out and he comes to Neyyah, he's sucked into the bunker instead of the Jalut station. And who is this?
The warrior within me wants to charge ever forward. But as Pelska of this Validian, I must monitor, guide, and protect. Peacefully. The betrayals Smolax committed will either be avenged or forgotten. You may change it all, or you may change nothing. The Paita harvest could flourish again, and the Electrolyte shield might reignite. You could bring Smolax to this very point, so I can perform the passing. Or you might never discover what Vermeer has been working on, and Smolax's poison will continue to infect the world. I know what you are. Do you? I have activated a barrier to prevent any arrivals on Neyyah. For now, do what you think is right.
With pleasure, ma'am. That was Orianne, the Pelska. And we saw in the other book there that Pelskas are not regular Fazaltians. Pelskas live in some other realm. They're sort of beyond physical in some way. They look human enough, and, you know, this one dresses a little weird. I mean, generally the costumes in this game are... I think it's right on with that 90s vibe. If you remember those 90s FMV games, especially the Myst series, the costumes could sometimes look like, hey, we found this at a party store. You know what I mean? That type of costume design. It's like, this is my community theater project, and we're dressed up as medieval people. It's that vibe, which I quite like. I quite like that. It's very charming. But yeah, that's a costume. That's certainly a costume to wear for the Pelskas. But anyway, Orianne's telling us a bunch of mysterious things, or trying to make it sound mysterious, that our goal now is to trap Smolax, and she wants to perform what's called the passing, which is what I described earlier. Once Smolax is lured into the bunker, the passing will allow her to teleport Smolax away. So she's telling us if we follow our instructions properly, then she can perform the passing. If we don't do it, then Smolax is going to ruin everything. We can continue on to this, the shrine itself, and take a look at this pool. It's very nice, as well as this thing. This device is supposed to power the Pelska portals in some way, or at least that's what it can do. I don't think it was originally built for that, but Vermeer sort of modified it. But we don't actually interact with it here. It's just interesting that it's this metal disc I wonder how much of that is original, like it was always this metal disc with the shrine on top of it, or if that was added later. Because we got some crystals growing out of it. I wonder if that was there originally, or if they were placed there. We can't actually explore around the edge of this. It'd be interesting, but there's nothing else to see here. There are 2 devices here that are really easy to miss. I don't know why they're easy to miss. They're giant. They're huge. How do you miss them? But they're very easy to miss because as soon as I click forward, you can't see them anymore. So it's really easy to just go like, wait, where are they? So you got to turn and look at them, and that's not how you do that, buddy. Let's try that again. Here we go. So this is a device that we can't open or look at here. I can't quite tell what this is, right? It's from this angle, it almost looks like these are more handles. Like you could pull each of these things up, but that's not actually what that is. It's just symbols on here, and it's got a red light. And then there's a receptacle here. It's not telling us we need an item, which is the strangest part, because we do actually need to put an item here, but it won't tell us we need an item here till we do something else first. That's unusual. Most places in the game, even if you are nowhere near finding the item or understanding what the device is, it'll tell you that you need one. This place doesn't. Behind us is a different panel that we actually can interact with. This one is the Pelska portal device. We didn't really get a drawing of this exact thing, but this is where we put it. So we take out our Pelska portal and place it here. And now let's open up the computer. Pelska portal activation system activation code. Remember that this needs to be Flora Constellation, Flora Constellation. That part's been done for us, but that the combination code is always 4231. So constellation numbers, this is number 1, that's been taken care of for us. Number 2 is going to be the number after this. So we can imagine doing this gives us number 2. And it does. So this will be 3, this will be 4. I told you it's the K shape with the funky leg. Oopsie daisy, don't do that. Number 5. So this is number 6. That's what that looks like. 7, 8, 9 is the M shape. 10 is that, and then it goes back to 1. So 2 and 1. This needs to be 4, this needs to be 3. The fun part is, this is already correct as well. The Felitsu plant is number 3 in the Book of Flora. Number 4 is the Gafunkia mushroom. So for some reason, this code is generated with 2 of the numbers already correct. And then we just had to press this once to get to number 2. This one is on 3. You would think number 4 would be here, but that's actually Flora number 5. We do it one more time. That gives us the Gafunkia mushroom. That activates the Pelska portal. We can pick it back up, and now it is working. We now have another option at the top of the screen. We cannot just use it anywhere, though. We were told in Vamir's book it only works when you are in front of a Pelska portal symbol, and the Pelska portal symbol is lit up blue and it's visible. So if I try to use the Pelska portal now, either by clicking here or by pressing P, nothing would happen. Actually, that's not quite true. This would happen, but then nothing would happen. Right? We enter. Unstable connection detected, portal systems failure. In order to use the Pelska portal to navigate around Neyyah, you must be positioned at an active point where symbol is glowing blue. What I just said, only better. So we're going to find a Pelska portal location, which I just showed you is back this way. On the way, we can see another one of these crane things, and it seems to be pointing at this guy's stomach here. If we get a little closer, we get a better look. It's pointed at this symbol right here. It's kind of hard to see because it's rather small, especially if you're watching, say, on a phone, or you are a type of person who watches YouTube in 144p because, I don't know, 2005 is your favorite year. But there's a symbol here that looks very familiar. Almost looks like a symbol we saw in Galorfiak Mines. That sort of clock symbol, right, with the hands. Except this one is flipped. So instead of the hour hand pointing to the left, it's pointing to the right. I can tell from here because I got a big screen and I've got my face 6 nanometers from, so I can tell what I'm looking at. But it's okay if you don't see this. We'll have another opportunity to see this symbol pretty soon. Maybe not soon. I'm going through this game rather slow. It might be 10 hours from now. Alright, let's get our Pelska portal working and see how that system goes. Right, it's glowing blue. I'm going to press P. Press the button. And we're in. A lot of clicks. There's so many clicks you have to do to get this activated. That's annoying. Just telling you. And now I can go to any of these 5 areas. So I can go here. This is the Scarlatti Towers. This is Pinorvia Point. This is Glorifiac Mines. And this is Filitu Island. These are the Neyyah pools in the center. So it's the arrangement of the 4 outlying areas and the central one. So this is the fast travel system. It is not the most convenient fast travel system. You need to get to a Pelska portal location. There's only about 8 of those in the game, so you can only work it from that spot, and it only takes you to 5 exact spots. So it is somewhat limited, but it can be useful because it means you don't have to do quite as much backtracking from one area to another. It's also not required to beat the game. You can beat the game without the Pelska portal. So I'm going to head here, because Glorifiac Mines is the only place we haven't yet been. Well, we've been, but we haven't been since we opened up all the portals. And I have the spare key, so I can enter the HQ lab. So we'll head here. And this is where I'll end the video. So next time, we're going to go to the lab. And I'm just warning you, there's going to be another just buttload of reading. I don't know how else to say it. It might be so much reading I might even have to split it into 2 videos or 3 videos. Or you know what? I could make 10 videos. What are you going to do about it? You'll find out. So if lore is not your favorite thing, then just skip over till a video that's not lore. You won't know what's going on, but if you just need puzzle answers, that's the thing for you. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're all having a great day. Goodbye.